This is Catherine Moore, and I am back to talk about the Texas Annual Conference and their policies. I grew up within the Texas Annual Conference. The Texas Annual Conference is a large administration within the United Methodist Denomination. My father, John Chester Dowden, was employed under the Texas Annual Conference administration as a United Methodist minister. He was appointed to multiple congregations under the United Methodist, under the Texas Annual Conference administration within the United Methodist Denomination. United Methodist Clergy are employed under large administrations within the United Methodist Denomination, and they are placed on assignment at the churches under these large administrations, which are divided up into districts. The head of each district is a district superintendent. The head of the conference is the cabinet and the bishop. The bishop is the one with the most authority on the cabinet. And then there are other people within the administration that also sit in the cabinet meetings along with the district superintendents. And I experienced retaliation within the family court system from the Texas Annual Conference for exposing their history of employing predators, another one being Kendall Graham, who sexually assaulted Alicia Provost Whitfield. And I consulted with the same attorney that she consulted with, which was Harrison Fisher. And Harrison Fisher leaked a letter that he wrote to Bishop Huey in 2011, which was a year after I met with Bishop Huey about my father. And they wanted to sweep it under the rug. And I have refused to do that because the way I see it is, if I'm going to be brought into it, then I'm going to handle it as I see fit. And no one is going to tell me what I can and cannot say if I have to go through it and experience it, especially if I'm going to be left to pick up the pieces after it has caused damage to my life and my relationship with my sons, and my sons have been affected by all of this. I was also forced to visit our sons through supervised visitation at St. Stephen's United Methodist Church on West 43rd Street in Houston, Texas. Parents and children are exploited within the supervised visitation program. And unfortunately, I had to find out the hard way that the Texas Annual Conference administration under the United Methodist Denomination not only has a history of employing sexual predators and placing them in a leadership role in their congregations, but they are also involved in allowing the domestic relations office to exploit parents and children of all ages within the supervised visitation system and program. A lot of parents are forced into the supervised visitation program based on false accusations. These accusations do not have to be proven. And parents and children are followed to the restroom within the St. Stephen's United Methodist Church. I was also sexually harassed during the supervised visitation at St. Stephen's United Methodist Church, and the staff of St. Stephen's United Methodist Church witnessed it, along with the staff of the Domestic Relations Office in Harris County. Other parents within the visitation also witnessed it, and I was sexually harassed by a visiting parent. His name was Shane, and he did not get the clue that I was not interested. I was there to visit our sons. I was not there to pick up a date, but I can see how I was an easy target since I was clearly a veteran of sexual assault from my father, who was a United Methodist minister that was that had been employed in the past by the Texas Annual Conference. So of course they figured, what better than just let me be their target, because it's not going to matter because I've already been sexually assaulted by one of their clergy. Plus, the Texas Annual Conference doesn't like it when anyone speaks out because they want their sexual assault victims to be compliant with being sexually assaulted or harassed within their churches and congregations. And I am clearly not one of those people who is going to be compliant with being sexually harassed or sexually assaulted in a United Methodist denomination. So I also went through other forms of retaliation, and I consulted for more than a year with 2 attorneys who were also associated in some way or form with the Texas Annual Conference. And one of the attorneys, who was my family law attorney, like myself, had actually grown up within the Texas Annual Conference administration. And my family, my father being employed as a clergy within the Texas Annual Conference, was not the only familial ties that I had to the Texas Annual Conference. One of the well-known familial ties that I had to the Texas Annual Conference administration, he was well-known within the Texas Annual Conference at one time and within Cherokee County, and it was Judge Morris Hassel from Rusk, Texas. And Judge Morris Hassel is my 4th cousin twice removed. Now, the Texas Annual Conference thought they had an advantage over me by forcing me to visit my kids at a United Methodist church, but they soon found out that it actually gave me the advantage because clearly the Texas Annual Conference failed to inform the visiting parents and the custodial parents that they had a history of employing sexual predators. And they have yet to explain how they're protecting children in the family court system by allowing the Domestic Relations Office to use their Methodist churches as visitation sites when they have had a history of employing sexual predators who sexually assault minors and placing them in a leadership role within their congregation. So what I'm going to do today is read the policies of the Residency Handbook of 2023 for candidates preparing for ordination within the Texas Annual Conference. And people will see it from the perspective of a sexual assault survivor reading the policies of the Texas Annual Conference, because they certainly didn't have that on their 2025 bingo card. I'm going to start where I left off on page 12. Here we go. This is the lay consultation team. You, the resident, are responsible for getting your own lay consultation team. This is the group that will see you in ministry and meet with you to consider your strengths and weaknesses. Choose wisely. Don't choose people who will only tell you what you want to hear. Choose laypersons whose opinion you value. Your lay consultation team should consist of 4 to 6 members of the local church who will have ample opportunity to observe you. These may or may not be members of the SRPC. At the first meeting, you will watch a training video and establish your meeting calendar. The meeting calendar should include at least 4 meetings the first year and 2 the second. You might want to schedule meetings after big events that you particularly want feedback on. For example, you might want to schedule a meeting after preaching, leading a retreat, facilitating a particularly difficult meeting, or organizing a big event. You may also want to begin looking at the KSAP and the standard definition of clergy effectiveness together in preparation for the growth plan you will be putting together with your RET. Your lay consultation team is expected to honor a qualified code of confidentiality. We say qualified because a member of the LCT will be giving feedback to the residency effectiveness team. See next section. If there have been questions of ethics or effectiveness raised in your lay consultation team, they will be obligated to share them with the RET. That is the extent of the qualification. Everything discussed in your lay consultation team will remain confidential from peers, church members, colleagues, and everyone else in the ministry setting. When you select your LCT, name one person as chair. That person will run the meeting as well as represent the LCT during the 2 meetings of the RET. Additionally, the person will contact the current RET coordinator, Reverend Eleanor Colvin, to confirm that lay consultation team meetings are taking place. Over the course of 2 years with your lay consultation team, you will, 1, spend time evaluating your effectiveness in ministry. You want to solicit feedback in a certain area, such as administration, outreach, or preaching. This is your time to ask and receive honest feedback. 2, lay consultation team will evaluate at least 2 sermons and 1 teaching session over the course of 2 years. These are forms provided to maximize the effectiveness of these conversations. A, these sermons and teaching sessions may or may not be official ones required by the ordination packet. You may do them on your own time and pick your own topics. B, a summary of these sermons and teaching reviews will be shared with the RET at the second meeting. After you select your LCT, plan a date for the first meeting. Copy the pages of this book from pages 20 and on that include the LCT handbook, the KSAP, and the working definition of clergy effectiveness. You will need to give this to every member of your LCT. At the first meeting, you will watch the training video together. Set the meeting schedule for the rest of the year. Get to know each other and pray. Residency Effectiveness Team, RET. The Residency Effectiveness Team, or RET, is part of the Board of Ordained Ministry and will meet with you at least twice during your residency period. The RET includes 1, a chair from the Board of Ordained Ministry. 2 other Board of Ordained Ministry reps. 1 can be non-Board of Ordained Ministry clergy of orders if needed. 3, a representative from the lay consultation team. 4, the district superintendent. These are all assigned. You don't need to do anything except name 1 member of your LCT, usually the chair, to be representative to the RET. The RET will make an on-site visit in the fall of the first of the year of residency and the spring of the second year. The second year will include review of the disciplinary questions in preparation for the final Board of Ordained Ministry interviews. First on-site meeting. The purpose of the interview will determine any growth areas the provisional member needs to develop or improve upon during the course of the residency. This goal of the meeting is to produce a written growth plan that will personalize the final steps of the ordination process for each resident. Don't underestimate this step. Over the last several years, several requirements have been taken out of residency process with the goal of making the process as individualized as possible. The growth plan is where that individualization occurs. The growth plan contains your personal requirements for the remainder of the ordination process, and that was page 13 of the Residency Program Handbook of 2023 for candidates preparing for ordination in the Texas Annual Conference Administration within the United Methodist Denomination in Houston, Texas. Now, here's the benefit this offers for anybody who is considering going through the ordination process, because they go into great detail with the policies and the procedures. However, in the event a clergy who is a part of the good old boy system, you know what I'm saying, fails to comply with the safe sanctuary policies, guess what the disciplinary procedure is? Nothing. They have nothing but their heads up their asses. They do nothing. They don't give a shit if the clergy follow the safe sanctuary policies or any of the policies that are put into place to protect anyone within the Texas Annual Conference within the United Methodist Denomination. That is a problem. It also alerts anyone who is choosing a career as a clergy to go through the ordination process within the Texas Annual Conference that the procedures to protect anyone within the United Methodist Denomination are not valuable if they are not implemented within the administration that they are attempting to become employed under. And in the event that they are, accused, regardless if it's true or not, their career could be affected. If anyone comes forward within their congregation and makes allegations that they were abused and nothing is done, the clergy does not handle it appropriately or within what the policies state, they have failed the people that they were serving in that congregation. And all of this effort that they went through within these groups to become an ordained clergy was a waste of the time of the Texas Annual Conference. It was a waste of the time of lay people within the congregation. And it was a waste of time within the cabinet of the Texas Annual Conference. But I digress. They don't care unless they're getting paid, right? Because the church is a business. People don't think of it in that way, but it is. And the leaders within these congregations have a responsibility to follow policies, and when they don't, guess what happens? Someone like myself comes forward who is a survivor of sexual assault and talks about their policies from the perspective of a sexual assault survivor who is a victim of the irresponsibility of clergy and people within the Texas Annual Conference Administration that failed to put all of these policies in practice.